Really excited to get the season started. Thought we had a good day of work Sunday in Memorial Coliseum. Thought Eckerd College really did a good job of helping us get ready for this road trip. Have tremendous respect for Marist and their program. I just think that Coach Jorgis is one of the best coaches in our game, and it's a sellout crowd, so it'll be an incredible atmosphere for women's college basketball, and we're awfully excited to be a part of it. Get to spend a little time in New York City on Saturday, and that'll be good for our players from the region. Have Jalea Sidney and Jennifer O'Neill are both from New York, and Castine Evans is from Connecticut, and Bernicia Pinkett from Washington, D.C., so it's good that we're up in that region so those kids can get some of their friends and families to the game. So we're excited about that. We'll be in New York City on Saturday and then go out and play Wagner College on Sunday. So it should be a good opening weekend for the Wildcats. We're ready to get it going.
Just opening the season on the road is something that you wanted to do specifically this season, or what do you think? What do you want the team to get out of it?
Well, scheduling is such a dynamic thing, and so I don't really have any set goals before you go into a season, and you're working off of oftentimes 2-year contracts, so just trying to figure out when you can actually do certain games is always a challenge. And so you're not only working with your schedule, you're working with other schools' schedules. So I'll be honest with you, I don't spend a lot of time with it. I can't remember how we figured out that this was the time that we would play Marist, but it's now that it's here, I think there's tremendous benefit. I think there's tremendous benefit by starting the season with a team that we feel like can be very good and can be challenged the opening night. You know, we could be here in Memorial Coliseum and playing a team that's not of the quality or caliber of Marist, and would not be nearly as challenged. So practices have been different. The sense of urgency to get prepared has been different, which are all good things. You know, if we don't talk to each other and we don't play with tremendous defensive fundamentals, and if we don't have a really sharp mental focus and a real strong emotional heart for each other up there, it'd be trouble. And so it's a great, great thing to go into Marist and have to prepare for all of that. So I think it will do nothing but benefit our team down the road. So I'm excited about the opportunity, and we'll have to go play well to win.
Any kind of Monday morning quarterbacking off of Sunday's game, just some things that you like, some things you feel like you've got to work on going into these two games?
Really grateful to Eckerd College for being so well coached and for giving us a look that I think we'll see a lot of this season. You know, you saw Samari and Denisha and Asia all had, you know, very productive days from a statistical viewpoint, and you just have to believe that teams are going to realize that and going to try to take our inside presence away. And so we, you know, on a poor shooting day, just continue to take some shots that were a little easy to take instead of working a little bit harder and finding some paint points. So grateful to Eckerd for playing us that way, so we've been able to prepare for that. You know, you just have to believe that teams are going to do that to us this season. So the film was very, very valuable. You know, it's a 50-point margin, but still extremely valuable. Eckerd gave us a real gift from that standpoint. So that's what our focus has been, trying to really focus on our defensive fundamentals. Marist is such a great motion offensive team, and you don't know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to read a lot, so you have to be ready to make some plays, and then just trying to get as many paint points as we can against a sagging defense has been what we've been focused on this week.
Since you're going up to her hometown, what do you want to see more from Jennifer O'Neill, and kind of what has she done? Or maybe it's Janae has really kind of put herself in the starting spot.
Well, you know, I think Jennifer and Janae can be such a lethal combination at point guard. You know, they're so similar. They have tremendous amount of talent. They have incredible speed and quickness, explosiveness, all the things that we value, and you have two of them that can really push tempo for 40 minutes, and I just don't know of a situation that could be a lot better for this team. So there's not a tremendous amount of difference in either one of them. So as you try to figure out who's going to go in the game first, it comes down to practice and the kind of attention that you pay to detail and the way you approach practice and the way you prepare for practice, and that's really where the decision has been made. Jennifer hasn't had terrible practices, but she hasn't practiced as sharp as Janae, and that's not really a knock on Jennifer. It's a compliment to Janae. Janae's been extremely focused, hasn't been error-free, but has really, been sharper. And it's like I told Jennifer, it doesn't really matter to me whether she starts or comes off the bench or she's going to play. I just get concerned that her lack of attention to detail is going to catch up with us this season, but then it's going to catch up with her when she stops playing basketball. So we're just really trying to get Jennifer to focus more on preparing before she steps on the practice court. Once she gets on the practice court and then I make the corrections, then she usually gets it going. I'm wanting her to get moved beyond that point. So somebody's got to start the game. I don't know if Janae will start every game this season. That it's that competitive, and so it'll be sorted out in practice the way every position is.
Is that a carrot for Jennifer? Like, kind of ridiculous?
Then we would be assuming that I know exactly what's going on in Jennifer's mind, and I don't. So why don't we put it this way? It could be, or Jennifer could detest carrots, and that would be the wrong thing to do. So I really don't know. I'll just be real honest with you. I don't have any idea exactly. If I knew more what was going on, I would be able to better predict that. But just wanting to stay completely honest with all of my friends here in the room.
How have practices been leading up to this?
You know what? This team has practiced so hard in preparing for this season. I'm really excited to see them play. I'm excited for them. We hold them to such a high standard. I don't know if people realize this, but because of academics and how important it is for our seniors to get their degree and to be able to do that in a timely fashion, our team's been up early every practice session. We've practiced early in the morning every time this team has practiced since September. And then you include how early they've gotten up in the morning in the summer. So this team has worked extremely hard, and I've been very excited to go to practice with them every day.
How do you deal with the preseason accolades? Denisha Stallworth has got a bunch. How do you deal with those? Do you acknowledge them, or do you kind of just not talk about them much and let them show it on the court?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be clever or anything. We just don't ever talk about them. They never come up in conversation. We've got too much work to do. We have such an opportunity in front of us. Denisha is told every day in practice how valuable she is to our team, but not because of any award she's going to win, but because Kentucky needs her to do well so we can all be successful, and that's what all the message is. So, I don't, there's probably, I don't know if there's many coaches that are less interested in that as far as what it means to our team. I'm very appreciative of the coverage and of the excitement that those kind of awards have for our fans. I think it's wonderful that our fans are excited about this team in Lexington and around the country. high preseason ranking, a lot of preseason awards. So those things we're grateful for, and there was a time at Kentucky where it didn't happen. So I'm not trying to be, cavalier about it, but as far as it relates to our day-to-day operations, we just never speak about those things. We don't worry about anybody getting any kind of award. I want Denisha to play real well for her team and also for her future. If she will approach every day correctly and with, high character actions, then that's going to transform her life into something really, really good. So, that's sort of the focus for us every day. It's just nothing that ever comes up as far as what you're supposed to do in the preseason. We do have a clear vision of what we can be, and we're trying to become that.
Each year is different. You go in with maybe the same approach, but the personality is different. What kind of personality are you seeing compared to last year's team, maybe with their focus, attention, detail, that kind of thing?
This team's been much more energetic than, say, last year's team. They seem to be having a lot of fun together, which is fun for me. It's not just blood and guts every single day, and I'm having to just wring it out of them. I mean, we're having some really intense practice sessions, but we're having, probably as much fun as I can remember. So I don't know if I'm having more fun or if the players are having more fun. I'm not sure. It seems like the players really like each other, work together real well. And, when they do have a struggle, they bounce back quickly, which indicates that it matters to them. So, I get frustrated with this group a lot less, and it sort of magnifies when you do get frustrated with them. If you really look at it in total from the time they started in September, this group's been hardworking and fun to coach and fun to be around, and I'm expecting us to go to New York and compete real hard against Marist and enjoy every second that we have in the city on Saturday, and then go play real hard against Wagner and enjoy the trip back home, Sunday evening. So I think this team needs to be there, I think for us to reach our full potential, they need to play with some joy in their heart, and they need to have some fun and enjoy being with each other. And it looks like they've done that so far.
Follow-up, it seemed like last year's team, I don't want to say, they had this sense of purpose to get there, but they seem to be more locked in last year and more serious as opposed to this one when you say they are having more fun this year.
No, I wouldn't say. No, this team's serious. This team, you can't work the way these players are working and not be serious. So I certainly don't mean to say that they're lacking focus at all. They're enjoying the process maybe more. Last year's team, we would get to critical moments. We won 30 games, but we would get to critical moments where we needed to perform, and we finished one game out of the championship for the regular season. We finished one game short in the SEC tournament. We finished one game short of the Final Four, and that team just seemed to kind of be. Let me just say this: our team right now, I think, has a chance to be more consistent. They have to do it, but I think this team has a chance to be more consistent than last year's team, and I think we'll need to be to get to where we're trying to go.
Samari and Denisha specifically were very adamant that they didn't want to have a star on this team. They didn't want to have a go-to player. They sort of implied that maybe, having Adia meant that other players didn't step up like they should have at times. Are you seeing that from them, that they don't care about star power? They just kind of want to play together?
I see a close-knit group and a group that's playing hard together, and I think that when you start looking at all the different personalities in the team, that there may be some comfort in the group there, that it's not on one person's shoulders, and I think if that makes them feel like that's going to be productive for them, that's fine with me. As I'm sitting on the sideline, I know where I'd like the ball to touch Denisha Stallworth's hands as much as possible. She's a very gifted and versatile player. Samari's a great option to give the ball to there. So maybe they're just being kind to each other because they're nice people and they like each other and they don't want to step out in front of the other. But those two are good candidates to get the ball to. But you know, you just never know what players are thinking exactly and what last year's team was thinking. And you know, I just think that the possibilities for this team are immense, and hopefully, as coaches, we can try to help them get there.
There are a couple WNBA pre-mock drafts that are running around out there. Samari is listed in a top 10 for all of them, but Denisha isn't. So I'm wondering if you've talked to anybody kind of at that next level and what they like about Samari versus, not versus Denisha, but you know what I mean? Like why Samari is such a target?
Yeah, I just again, I haven't seen any of that, and so I don't know exactly what people would be thinking. I think that what the last time I really so here's how we handle that. Last spring, when Adi was going through the process, talked to a lot of people, obviously, and during that time talked about, you know, Denisha and Samari. So I know where those kids, what people are thinking of them now. And so the best way to get them in position is to coach them every day and help them have really good senior seasons and put them, give them that feedback. But I'm not on the phone every day. WNBA scouts aren't in here every day. They start to trickle through later in the year for conference season. They just kind of completed their season, so it's, you know, I'm not sure exactly how, what they're doing right now, but usually they start showing up during conference time, and so I've got to have a good idea of what they like about Denisha and what they like about Samari. I'm not sure those mock drafts are match up with what the people in the league are telling me, but you know, it's both of them have had conversations with us, the coaching staff. They want to be pros. We're trying to help them be pros, and so we'll deal with all the other stuff as it comes.
Coach, can you talk real quick about the fundraiser initiative that you're doing with Marist to coach?
Yeah, Brian Jorgis is donating a dime for every person who attends a Marist home game this year, and ask if we would match that during this game. And it's a hunger initiative there in the Hudson Valley, and hunger is a national issue. It's and then that breaks down into different regions, and so it's an issue in the Hudson Valley. It's an issue here in the Bluegrass. The cause really hit close to home for us because we're already involved in hunger awareness and hunger issues. Mitch Barnhart several years ago implemented a program to support God's Pantry here in town. I have had the absolute honor of speaking at God's Pantry, and they're a big fundraiser for I think the last 3 or 4 years, so I'm close to the organization. Our players work here with it, and also we go out one night a year and actually go to the food bank and work. So it's an issue that we're aware of, and we want to bring awareness to, and we want to make sure that people have access to food, and these food banks do a great job. A lot of times it's just an access issue, and so people being able to come to these food banks and get food when they are lacking is a very, very important issue for us. So when Brian asked us to be involved in that for them in Poughkeepsie and in the Hudson Valley, we were happy to be a part of it, and I commend him for bringing awareness to the issue there, and hopefully we'll do some good up there on Friday night.
Coach, for all the talk about, all the attention that's given to the men's teams here in the state, in Louisville, Kentucky, I mean,
Do we have men's teams in the state? Do they play men's basketball here? I've really been focused. I was unaware.
But yeah, along that same line, I mean, how do you kind of see maybe the attention given to the women's programs here and the success that both programs are? Do you feel like it's getting the attention it deserves? You feel like there's still a ways to go to kind of get on the map?
We are live streaming this press conference this morning. It is going out worldwide, so I just think that we are getting incredible attention. And really, as a person who came here 10 years ago, and then further back from that, as an assistant in the league 15 years ago, and you would come to Kentucky, and you could literally count the people in the stands, and now we go to a packed house every night. I mean, the attention we've received and the support we've received from Mitch Barnhart, Lee Todd, Eli Capilouto, I mean, it's incredible. And then you know, our men's team's #1, we're in the top 10. U of L, both teams, you know, men's, women's in the top 10. It's just incredible, I think, for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It's just a real point of pride. Basketball brings people together, excites people, motivates people. I think it's a terrific place to be. I'm humbled that I'm the coach of Kentucky and can be here during this exciting time. So I don't know how you all could give us more attention. It's unbelievable to me how much we receive, and then the fans come out. And, you know, when U of L comes here this year, it'll be sold out. It was sold out last year over there. I mean, it's just a tremendous amount of attention given to women's basketball in Kentucky, and I'm very grateful for that.
Got a lot of players brought in. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Did you see the shit? Hey, Steve. Did you see the shit-eating grin you gave me when I asked how practice was going? I'm not gonna budge on that.
Okay, we're here, Goss, casting Devin. We'll start with questions for the players. Players, just pull the microphone every time you talk. Questions?
Bree, can you just talk about starting the season on the road and what that's going to be like, especially against a team like Marist?
We're fortunate to play such a great team at the beginning. Marist is very fundamentally sound. It'll just be a really good test to see where we're at early, and we know that it's just going to get better. So we're very fortunate to play a good team like Marist.
For both of you, after the Eckerd exhibition, Samari and Denisha were both very clear to say that they didn't want this team to have a star, and they didn't think it did this year, and they thought that would make you better. Do you agree with them on that?
I definitely do. I think a lot has to do with our change in our offense. With Audie here last year, we've had a lot of changes since then, kind of playing more to our personnel and the athletes that we have, especially with the incoming freshmen and the veterans that are still here. So I think a lot of changes in our offense has made that choice where everybody's going to be involved in just making plays and playing basketball.
And then just to add on from that, we're such a dynamic team this year that there's not just one scorer anymore. If they pack it in on D, D's able to get it out to shooters, and if shooters are guarded, we're able to pack it into Samar, and we're just really fortunate to have a whole bunch of scoring opportunities on this team.
For either one of you, just some general thoughts about playing these two games on the road, and as opposed to, say, starting the season at home.
I think it's a good test, especially, I mean, we played Marist last year here, so we kind of have an idea of how they play and their style of play. So especially, they're a really good team. They always do really well in their conference. They always make it to the NCAA tournament. So it's going to be a real good test for us and a win that we're definitely going to want later in the season. We worked really hard. We got an earlier start this year, have been able to start workouts in the summer. So I think we're further along than we were last year, so it's just going to be a good run for us.
Do you kind of like starting earlier, and does that kind of help get the motor going, or as opposed to the other schedule?
Definitely starting earlier. It gives us a chance to work with the coaches, start on the playbook, start on our execution on offense and defense. So it's definitely better to start earlier because we get a wrap on a lot of the fundamental stuff a lot earlier.
Bria, you guys kind of struggled from the outside shooting in that exhibition. What do you think was the cause of that, and is that just you guys being a little bit maybe rusty before the start of the season, or you guys have all said that you think this is a better offensive team, so is it a better shooting team?
We're definitely a better offensive team. I mean, we're always going to have off nights, but maybe just, jitters, nervousness, just excitement to play. We came out with really good energy, and even though we weren't, knocking down our shots, we still scored 83 points, was really good. And it opens up for rebounding opportunities and putbacks and kickouts. And so just although we weren't able to, stroke it from outside from a high percentage, but we were still able to put up a lot of points on the board. That I think that says more than our shooting percentage.
Anything else? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.